Welcome back to the Spicy 100. This is question 16. The recommended time for question 16 is 6 minutes, and it is a non-calculator question. I'll read the question to you. The diagram below shows a prism whose cross-section is a sector of radius x with the angle 30 degrees. The height of the prism is x. Show that the surface area S of the prism is given by, so S is equal to 1/3 x squared multiply open bracket 6 plus pi. Once you've set your timer, you feel ready to have a go at this question, pause the video and best of luck with this one. So in question 16, we need to find the surface area of this prism, and the prism has a cross section which is a sector. So we're going to need to know about areas of sectors, arc lengths of sectors. It's also important that we can visualize what the net of the shape of this prism would look like, how many sides. We're going to have to algebraically work it through. So let's imagine what this looks like. So I'm actually going to have a cheat a little bit. I'm going to show you a software called SketchUp to just picture what this looks like. I'm going to use that to draw a net of the shape. This is the pi tool, so you can create a prism. I'm just going to, so you can see that from above. So that's a sector of a prism. And we can use this function to create our prism. And I'm just doing this just to show you, so you can help you visualize it and you can see how many different sides we're going to require for our surface area. So if I use this rotate tool, we can actually have a look around. So we can see that you've got your top and your bottom. So you've got those two sectors. If we look around it, you've got a rectangle, we've got a rectangle here, so this is a curved one. You can see that's the arc of the circle. So what we've got is we've got two rectangles using the radius and the height. Then we've got this arc length and the height making another rectangle, and then you've got a sector on the top and the bottom. So that's going to mean that we have 5 areas of sides that we need to find for the surface area. So it effectively looks a bit like a block of cheese. So we've got that sector on top, sector at the bottom, and then these 3 rectangles. So I'm just going to draw a rough sketch of our solid. So you've got your curved bit. So this kind of comes down, this comes down. Then we'd have a curved line here that comes down. And so you'd have effectively from this corner here, you'd have a dotted line coming to create our bottom sector. So you've got a rectangle, 3 rectangles and your 2 sectors. So our 2 sectors on top and bottom have an angle of 30 degrees and the radius is x, and we have 2 of those. Then our rectangle on the sides, so we've got a height of x and a radius of x. So effectively we've got 2 squares actually, because the radius is x and the height is x. We've got 2 of those. And then we've also got the rectangle which is around this arc. So you've got the arc of the circle. So I'm just going to label it arc there, and then the height of x, and we've only got 1 of those. So if we can find an expression for these 5 sides of our sector, then we'll be able to get this expression for the surface area in terms of x. To find the area of a sector, what we need to do is we need to think about what the angle is as a fraction of as a whole circle. So because a full circle would have 360 degrees, so as a fraction of a whole circle, this 30 over 360 multiplied by the area of a circle, which is pi r squared. And our radius here is x, so it's going to be multiplied by pi x squared. And actually we've got 2 of these. So we've got 2 of these. So that's, if we simplify that, so 30 over 360 is a 12th. So we've got 2 twelfths. So this is 1/6 pi multiplied by x squared. And that will be the area of the 2 sectors. So that's the 2 times the sectors on the top and the bottom. Our 2 rectangles, well, our 2 squares on the side, that's nice and easy. So remember we've got x here, and we've got 2 of them. So that is simply going to be 2x squared. So x times x is x squared. So that's nice and easy. So that's the rectangles on the squares on the two sides. Now if we consider the curved rectangle, I know curved rectangle doesn't make sense, so the rectangle that is created with the arc of the sector. So if we were to consider the arc, so we know that this is 30 degrees. So the formula for the diameter is 2 pi r. So that's the diameter of a whole circle. So what we're going to have is 30 divided by 360 multiplied by 2 pi, and the radius is x. So actually that comes through to be a 12th times 2, so a 6th. So we're going to get a 6th pi x, and that's the arc length. So that's our arc length. So the rectangle, the last side that we need to find, the arc length will be one of the straight lengths. So we're going to have 1/6 pi x. So that's the length of the width of the rectangle, and then the height will be x again because the height of the prism is x. So our last area we need to add on is a 6th multiplied by pi x times x, so just a 6th pi x squared. So we've now found the areas of all of our sides. So we've got the two sectors here, we've got the two squares, and we've got the final rectangle here. So the surface area of the entire shape is going to be all three of these added together. So I'm going to put the 2x squared first, that's a bit more simple. And then we've got plus a 6th pi x squared plus another 6th pi x squared. And so if we simplify that, we're going to get 2x squared. Now a 6th plus a 6th is 2/6 or a third. So we're going to get plus a third pi x squared. Now we can factorize this. So we can take out x squared. Now because we've got a third, if we take out a third as well, and there's a clue in the question, that's what we're trying to get to. So if we take out a third, we take out an x squared. So because we're taking out a third, effectively we need to multiply what's in the bracket by 3. So 2 times 3 is 6. Just check that. A third times 6 is 2x squared. So that matches up what we got. And then v plus pi. And thus we have shown what they wanted us. The surface area is equal to a third x squared, open bracket 6 plus pi. So in this question we needed to be able to deal with sectors and arcs. We need to be able to visualize how many different sides, so it had 5 sides of the shape, and work it all through nicely. So I hope you enjoyed question 16. If you're feeling up to it, why don't you move on and have a go at question 17. If you're enjoying the Spicy 100 series and the other Hench Maths videos, please do subscribe to the channel and like the video. Thank you.